You look like a cut of fuckable meat. Are you?
I love Cyberpunk 2077 and everything it did to me. In 2019, I was in an environmental science class on a sunny day in an early part of high school. I was on my phone in the middle of class like a bad little boy I am, and I was refreshing the CD Projekt Red page over and over again for any new news on the Cyberpunk 2077 release. I remember taking a break from refreshing and putting my phone away to do my work, and then pulling my phone out 10 minutes later, and I refreshed the page one more time I remember, and I saw that freak ass wall of black text against that yellow background, and I broke man. I couldn't. It was horrible. I remember the feeling in my head that day. I remember just my head wanting to explode in like a gooey mess so bad. I wanted to paint the walls with my brain. I'm not lying. Like, I was 16 at the time, and my emotions were very heightened, and I was just saying, like, so upset. I was so upset that after I got home from school, I no joke went into bed and cried a little bit. It's embarrassing, but I cried a little bit, and I know you're judging, but back then, I was ecstatic for this game. This game was my shit. Like, I was watching all the lores and leaks and like all the gameplays. I was consuming everything Cyberpunk 2077. And if you knew me back then, you knew. See, I'm not the type to dwell in my own sadness for a while. I like being happy, so I try to cure that sadness I was feeling from the game's pushback. And to cure that, I remember, like, something just snapped in me, and I was consuming every piece of Cyberpunk media ever. See, it was 2019, the year COVID started, and COVID shut down mostly everything, you know. And if I wasn't jacking off in the corner of my room somewhere, I was just shoving Cyberpunk media all down my throat. I was watching, I was reading, I was drawing, all I could, just to get ready for the greatest game ever, which was going to be Cyberpunk 2077. In the deep dark corners of my room, you caught me watching stuff like Blade Runner 2049, Ghost in the Shell, Cyberpunk the tabletop game, Akira, Future is Now, Ruiner, Deus Ex, RoboCop, Observer, Neuromancer, Katana Zero, all that gunk. Great pieces of media that genuinely made me so happy. It made me just forget about how small the world was around me, being trapped in the room. It put me in a world of just being happy, being joyful, being silly. It was rare for me at the time. It was rare for a lot of people. My parents were struggling, and I was struggling with my mental health since like online school fucking sucked dick. It was good, and it evolved me to be the person I am today. And it's embarrassing, but it's true. It was a milestone in my journey to self-discovery, my teenage, adolescent years, my formative years. It was what I truly found what I was interested in. It paved the way for the person I am today and what I create as an artist, as a creator, as a person. And I wouldn't trade that for the world. Josean Gonzalez, better known as Deathburger on the internet, created this art book called The Future is Now Nightfall, and no joke, it is one of the best books I've ever read, probably the best book I've ever read, and it's more than an art book, it's a story, an important one. I don't know a lot about this artist except he has a cool beard from the few selfies he posts. Other than that though, like his whereabouts, his work routine, his personality separated from his art are completely a mystery to me, and I don't care. That doesn't stop me from absolutely adoring his work. His art is endlessly complex, endlessly detailed, and it's everything. I mean everything I adore in a piece of media. I got The Future Is Now Nightfall from my best friend for my birthday, and I remember when I opened that book and smelled the pages and flipped through, my mind was blown, and the explosion was bigger than anything that has ever happened in like the past, I don't know, like 5 years of my life. Like bigger than the one I got from the 2077 delay, bigger than the one I got from like the past 4 birthdays I had. It was big. It was big. It's an art book, right? But it's also a comic book, so it's a hybrid called an art boom. It tells a linear story, and a cohesive one at that, through a series of artworks he's created, having chapters and everything. He wears his inspirations on his sleeve while doing something completely original, something completely his own, and it's just amazing. Gonzalez is amazing. He inspired me endlessly. You can see a lot of his echoes in my own style of art even. The point is though, I love Deathburger. I love his art, and if anyone's watching this, go check him out. I implore you to check him out. And if Deathburger's watching this, hi. You made me open my eyes to myself, and you changed my life, man. You're great. 10. God, I am so excited to play Cyberpunk 2077. It's about to release. All the footage looks great. This looks great. I got my PS4 ready. My body is ready. Oh God, this burns my eye. This burns my fucking eyes. Oh my God, stop. This isn't working, but I'm determined. I don't give up easy. I don't care if my PC is a hunk of shit. I just dropped another 60. It's gotta work. It did not work. I couldn't play Cyberpunk 2077. I swear to God, multiple blood vessels in my eyes popped from playing that fucking PS4 base version. Like, it was terrible. The base version was terrible, and my PC couldn't run it, and I just couldn't play it. I went to bed that day at 3 a.m. after staying up just to play it at launch, and I was so sad. I was so very fucking sad. I was having my Office Arcade moment in my room. I was laying down on the ground looking up at the ceiling and everything. A game that was a solace in my life has come out, and I couldn't even play it. I wasted money on a game I couldn't even run. PS5s were scalped, and it was during a pandemic, and my parents were struggling and stuff, and I couldn't play a game I just dropped $120 on and waited years for. It was awful. Then I saw the reviews and the video essays and the video critiques. I saw everything. I saw every nook and cranny on how the game didn't live up to anything. It lived up to almost nothing, and it saddened me. Way more. I was like a wet dog coming home from a storm that started 5 minutes after I was let out. It was awful. I was down in the dumps, the dumpiest of dumps. This dump was horrible. I was walking around in my house, across my house, in underwear, covered with a blanket. And I did this for about a week, but I mean, in about a week, I got better. The cogs in my brain started working again, and I started realizing how stupid it was of me for being sad over a video game. This is real life, man. You can't be sad over a video game. That's stupid. Sure, the game is flawed and there's a lot wrong with it, but there's also good to the game, and a good that I saw and a lot of other people saw, like the characters, the arcs, their conversations. It was a light at the end of a tunnel. It was a silver lining I really needed at the time. Then I kept thinking, I came to the realization that being disappointed for this game was valid and justified, but being upset about this game was just stupid. Every minute I was thinking about this game before it released has brought me so much happiness. I gained so much from being excited over this silly little game, and this happiness was bigger than any inch of disappointment I felt from the game being released. I discovered a genre I love so near and dear even to this day, that it's overshadowed everything. I found pieces of media that changed my life, artists and movies that marked an important milestone in my teenage developing years. I grew, I gained, not from the game itself, mind you, but everything else surrounding it. And that is how Cyberpunk 2077 changed my life. And I would not change that experience. I would not mess with it because it is one of the things that brought me so much happiness, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. Anything. This game changed my life in a way I couldn't even guess. I eventually got a PS5 years later in the year of our Lord 2023, and I finally got to play Cyberpunk 2077. The game I waited years for, and it had all its fancy updates and improvements, and I was in for a blast, and I had a blast. But after finishing it, it still wasn't the game I hoped for. Though this time it was kind of happy. It was sort of a melancholy happiness that I got from it, except pure disappointment and rage. I genuinely enjoyed the game a lot, and in other parts, not so much. The game is fundamentally flawed in my humble opinion, but I still love this game. The characters, the writing, the environments that are not in the open world were so full of life and personality. This game oozes personality, a personality I was so in love with since the beginning. That part was still intact. I love this game for what it is, not for what it could have been. I know what it could have been, but it's useless to cry over spilled milk.
You look like a cut of fuckable meat, are you?